you're fine.
Like I said, do you like my tail? Like I said.
And we're back for another installment of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined as always by Lee Priest in his car, which is where he gets his best service and his best ideas.
Well, I get up at 4, take the wife to work at 5. Now, I took my stimuli, so I was doing a bit of buys and tries. Now I'm sitting in the car tingling, getting hot flushes.
You know, Lee, I'm gonna tease with a new product that we are potentially developing that will involve a very, very, very green label. I don't know if that would tip you off as to what the product might be.
Something to do with the Hulk.
You never know. It might be a Hulk formula. You take the stuff and you turn into the Hulk. You know, that would be called. It's going to be called Gamma-Lyze. There you go. And we're going to unfortunately we're going to have to inject you with gamma rays and turn you green. I don't know if that's going to be a problem.
Gamma-Lyze would be a good product. Gamma-Lyze.
Yes, there you go. That might
bring out the beast in you.
It's actually a greens and probiotics and a whole bunch of other stuff.
I like greens products, drinks, and that. My friend,
I always wanted to make one, but there's some new technology that came about. So
my friend, he has massive. He's like a ex like vet type, you know, military Navy SEAL, and he has a supplement company. He has a good one. He has a greens one, and he also has a red one as well. So that has, I think, more fruits and that in it.
I'm going to be mixing both of them together, so that you're going to get everything in one. Because you know what, if you have too many bottles, people don't know what to use first, and so I'm going to have the greens and the reds together with probiotics. You know, I think that are really important because I always wanted to put probiotics in the Fiberlize, but I'm like, you know what, it's going to add cost to it. I'm like, I'd rather come out with a separate probiotic product, and so I'm like, if I'm going to come out with a probiotic, I might as well come out with greens and reds too. So. We'll see how it goes.
What's the name of it? Gamma-Lyze.
You just named it. You didn't even know it. I was trying to think of the name.
There you go. You're welcome. I'll just take a little percentage of sales, 2% from Gamma-Lyze.
But like I said, you're gonna have to get some tattoo your whole body green. You know, that's part of the deal.
And then we'll do a photo of me just like all hunched down like this, and then one like this. After I take it.
Yes, we'll have to do a whole commercial and everything like that. You're turning into the beast from the east.
Like I said, I took a little bit too much. I normally only take half a scoop or a bit less of the stimuli, but I took a little bit more today, and it's making me tingly. Only because last week I was up away in Brisbane helping a friend, and I get home, haven't had any rest, just training and doing stuff, and then down to Sydney, back and down to Sydney again. I've been filming that TV show, City Council, where I play a parking cop.
Oh, good.
I play a parking cop.
When is the thing coming out?
Probably not for a while because they're just doing all the scenes now, and it's got to go to Edling, and that's from the same people that did Housos and Fat Pizza. You know, like the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, no, I like that. It's funny.
I put up a picture on my Insta of me dressed as the parking cop.
I
don't take shit from people. If you want to complain about your ticket, I go off.
Now, tonight, or probably for you, it's already been up for a day. On Netflix, I'm going to try to watch it tonight.
Oh, someone said to me I have to watch that, the Sally McNeil.
Sally McNeil, documentary they did on her. It's called
Someone sent me a message on Insta today and say, Lee, you got to watch it. So,
did they see it?
Yeah, they must have because they said it was good.
Oh, they said it was good. Okay, yeah, I'm sure. We know all the players, so it'll probably be worth checking it out. I mean,
it'll be interesting to hear the whole story. Like I said, we hear the bits and pieces, so it'll be interesting to see the whole thing.
We're only going to hear Sally's side of the story, unfortunately, because Ray's not with us anymore. So we don't know what his side of the story was.
And of course, it's going to be the steroid abusing boyfriend who was always going off and being angry and this and that, and she feared for her life. So she at her last, what more could I do? I was back in the corner.
I only saw the little preview for it, and the funny, it wasn't funny. They had one of the kids of her kids, I think it was the son, and he was saying how he would watch his father, beat his mother or his sister or something like that. I don't know. So I have a feeling Ray was very violent, but I think the reason they sent her to jail, and I haven't seen the documentary yet, but from what I remember, was the fact that she shot him, but then she finished him off. Like, in other words, once you get someone away from you and they're laying on the floor with a gunshot wound, you don't go and blast them in the face and blow them away, So,
but then you could probably, these day and age, I guess, with all the stuff that's happening there, you probably get away with it more. But then you could also say that because you're in that frame of mind where you just went and feared for your life, that you just did it and did it again, and you weren't thinking you were, out of your fucking whatever.
I think they try to say it was premeditated, like that she wanted to do it, and maybe she antagonized. I don't know. So I'm gonna watch it tonight and see what.
But it's sad, like you said, that he's not here to give his side, because it will be more centered on him being, pretty much like he deserved it because he did this and did that, and she had no more options. And
they had I think they had like one of these. There's some couples have like violent relationships, when it's okay to hit each other type of thing. I mean,
you see that all, especially like not even in our sport, but even you could probably say that one with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that sort of toxic relationship where you just shouldn't be together. All the signs say you just shouldn't be together, but yet they stay together and don't separate. Then something bad happens, and
And supposedly she was supporting them because with all the schmo sessions she was doing, like he didn't want to work because he wanted to be a bodybuilder full time. So she was making all the money. And so, that always creates a strain in the relationship too, when there's money issues, Didn't Ray I think Ray beat Paul Dillette, right, at the North American the first time he did it, when Paul was supposed to win.
I remember he had a good physique. I remember all his photos in the magazines. He always had the headband on and stuff like that. So
I think he was losing his hair. I think he had one of those like Sean Ray hair pieces from which I'm pretty sure I remember reading that.
Don't upset Sean, please.
Oh, we all hate losing our hair. You're lucky.
Someone sent me a video clip. It's so funny, actually. Remember the Flex TV show? There was an episode of Kevin and Sean on there, and they had both had the same hair. It just seems funny looking at Kevin and Sean with hair. It just looks weird.
So, the funny thing is, I think Kevin can grow hair, but he shaves it anyway. Like he has hair. He didn't really lose his hair.
Is it true? Like, I heard people that shave their head all the time. They say it's harder for the hair to grow back sometimes. It's like after a while, it doesn't come back when they keep shaving. So,
well, I think what happens is your hair starts falling out. You don't even realize it, and then all of a sudden you try to grow it back, and it's not there. I remember Ronnie grew his hair back one year. He had hair.
Yeah.
He just looks better with no hair. That's all. I think that's why he shaved it. Phil Heath grew his hair one year too. He has hair as well.
Yeah.
He just likes the shaved head look, I guess.
Probably easier once it's shaved. It's easier just to maintain it like that. So
you know what? If you have a good face, like for a shaved head, then I always say a shaved head is the easiest thing you can possibly do. But I look like if I shaved my head, I would look like like Joel Rifkin or a serial killer or something like that. So I have to put a little hair on my head to kind of make it look like I'm not as scary looking.
I'd probably look the same. I don't think a shaved head would suit me. I've had like a number 2 buzz, and it was like
I think your head would look a little too round, maybe, don't you think?
Especially if I put weight on and my face got really.
Yeah. You because you have a small head, but if you can, I don't know. Who knows?
I'd have to be in like contest shape, so he actually had a big cheekbone while I'm bald, so it just sort of didn't go too.
If I look like Jason Statham, he's got a good head for a shaved head. He's got good features.
I could shave my head and then get tattooed 3 like finger holes on top of my head.
Yeah, you would probably do something. My friend Fran Volpe had a dragon on his head. He shaved his head. He got a dragon tattooed on the top of it, and then he grew his hair back. So no one knew he had it. You didn't know he had it there.
Well, look at that tattoo that goes through my hair. There, goes right into my hairline. There, I forget about.
Yeah.
You could have a big dragon and the wings come around the side, so it just looks like hair.
Right. Did that hurt the tattoo on the head?
Not really. It's more irritating because you got a lot of nerve endings on your head there. So after a while, it just gets more irritating. It wasn't too painful, but you can feel it's more of I'd say like a burning, irritating feeling more than actual pain. But it's just annoying because the sound's right there as well. It seems to amplify.
I'm sure. And once they start, you got to go through it, and at that point, you're like, they got to finish. So it's like it doesn't matter. much how painful it is at that point. You're like, oh, I guess I got to deal with this, you know.
And then when it heals, it just feels like a really bad sunburn.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. All right, I had a pretty cool picture that I don't know if Stallone put this up or he's got his own little fan club to put it up. Hold on, let me pull this picture up. Who do you think has got a better physique now at their age? And I believe Stallone is who's older, Stallone or Arnold?
They're pretty close, aren't they? They're both near 72. Arnold maybe a year older. I think they're pretty close, aren't they?
Yeah. Who's got the better physique, you think? I didn't even know Arnold looked like that. That's pretty good. Although that's the Joe Weider.
I think that one's photoshopped, isn't it? I think I saw that one before. Isn't that photoshopped?
Yeah, it looks a little too good to me. Yeah, to be Arnold.
I think it's been touched up a little bit. It's hard to say. I reckon that'd be equal, really, when you like see them how they are now. I think they'd be pretty close to equal for their height and their age and stuff. But
you remember Joe Weider used to do that picture? He had it was like a tricep pose like that too, but he had no muscle, he had no cuts, but it was like shaded. It was the lighting so that it looked like maybe he had a physique. You know, you remember that shot?
Yep. What about Joe with his arms folded? He looked fantastic in that one.
Yeah.
Don't mention that to Robbie Robinson.
Yeah.
They didn't even give him credit or pay him for using his body for that, did they?
No, well, I think he sued them though, didn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, he sued them, and I think he got some kind of a settlement from Joe.
And it's funny you mentioned, because I was talking like on the set the other day on the TV show. People say, "Oh, Lee, you look great for your age." Still, I said, "Thank you." And then it's funny how we talk about, you see people like that or myself, and people go, "Oh, look how he looks now," and this. I'm thinking, fuck, if I look like Arnold or Stallone at their age, it's like they go, "Look how he looks now compared to Olympia." I'm like, it's like, how fucking long ago was that? He's 72 now. When was Arnold in the Olympia last? It's like people always compare someone to how they looked. It's like, well, look how he looks now compared to back then. Well, he's still training. He still looks great. It's like, let me see. He's 50 years older. He doesn't have that training mindset of killing himself for a contest. He's not on the gear. I'm sure he's not eating 6-7 meals a day, forcing food in. It's like, do you people actually think before you open your mouths and put shit online? I'm talking to myself, Dave. Well, hello, people on the show. Dave has disappeared. This is Iron Rage with Lee Priest, but I will not go off on a tangent because we shall get removed from YouTube. This is what happens when Tyler's gone to Tallahassee. Dave's got to run the show. He's scooting around on his scooter. I'm just sitting here like I got menopause with stimuli. And that's it. We're meant to have a guest on today, an Australian guy. Looks very similar to Arnold, natural bodybuilder. He was meant to come on today, but those Australians, unreliable. They never come on. Never come on. Like Dave, he's unreliable. He's disappeared. So I did biceps and triceps this morning, people. I did a bit of supersetting in case you want to know. And people say, Lee, how do you work your arms? High volume. I always do high volume. And then 20 sets for bis, 20 sets for tris. What exercises, Lee? Well, I do the same as you. Barbell curl, dumbbells, hammer curls. Sometimes cable curls with the bar or single arms. Then I do tricep rope push downs. And then I do normal push downs. And then
Thanks for keeping the conversation going.
I'm used to talking to myself.
Yeah. It's funny because I bought this new computer because the old computer in my studio always used to freeze up.
It's working well.
Yeah. Well, no, this is the old one. So I forgot, because my son's been using it and he has no problems with it. He uses it, he watches YouTube on it, nothing ever happens. It's when I do multiple operations at the same time, and then things go wrong. So anyway, I guess I'm not using it anymore. This is the last time I'll use it. All right, let me pull up the picture I want to pull up for you. So remember that Joe Weider picture? He used to always put that in the ads.
Oh yes. Even when you look at that now, that looks like someone's head just stuck on a body.
I think that's really his body, but they he probably, I'm sure it's photoshopped. First of all,
they would have
airbrush. Remember back in the day, airbrushing.
Yeah, because he did train a little bit. He did. I remember he had a little bit of physique, but like you said, I think they've highlighted it a lot better.
The question is, who's got the better physique, Blackman or Joe Weider?
They almost look the same there with the mustache.
Yeah, Blackman's photoshopping of his body is much better.
Now, if his hair was black there, they'd almost look like twins.
Blackman was more ripped, I think, than him. I think Joe probably had a little more mass than Blackman.
Yeah. So what's
I have a 12-inch neck. Cro-Magnon, they call me.
You look fantastic. What's the latest on the saga of the women's in bodybuilding fallout from the Washington Post?
You know, it's a good question.
Oh, before I go into that, people stop sending it to me. I do see things. It's like, this is the thing I hate on Instagram or Facebook. People just send me shit from other people's pages. Like, I follow these people. I do see it. So stop sending it to my fucking inbox.
People text me these articles all the time. And you know what? I actually appreciate it. Sometimes these guys will get me the articles before I've even seen them because they're right on top of it. But then I have other guys that will send it to me like a week later and say, I don't know if you saw this. Did you check? What do you think of this? I'm like, we had a show on it last week. I said,
or it's like, I'll post something on my page and these people follow me. Yeah. And a few days later, Lee, have you seen this? I'm like,
right.
I posted it on my page, for God's sakes.
The NPC sent to all the competitors an email, I guess, saying that they were going to be forming a committee for people who have any kind of issues or problems that they can go to and talk to. I think Sandy Rinaldi is going to head that committee, and she's going to pick the members for the committee. I don't know exactly. They didn't really give too much detail, but they said, obviously, because when they first put the article out, I guess the Washington Post, I guess the NPC had responded that, they deny the allegations rather than say, we're going to investigate, which is that's the correct thing to say. So now they're doing, obviously, and they should always have this. They should have human resources.
Well, Sandy's been into sport ever since I can remember. It has to be 30 years or more, hasn't it?
But she should pick a committee of people that maybe are not even competitors, because otherwise it's too biased, I think, because if I'm like having someone that's, trying to take advantage of me and I compete and Sandy judges me, it might be a little
especially if you're, let's just say you're in really good with the IFBB and stuff's going on. It'd be like a corrupt cop policing corrupt cops. It's like, you'd be like, nothing's happening here. Nothing's happening. It's like, it's all good.
It's like, it's a worse thing. A better analogy would be like if you're being beaten up at home by like your father, and you go to a therapist who's best friends with your father. You can't do that, even though theoretically they separate that. But if the guy's best friends with your father, it seems uncomfortable to tell that person your problem. So if Sandy gets people on the committee that maybe are not related to judges or promoters, they're kind of like, pure people like Lee Priest. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm surprised. That's an exit only. Read the fucking sign. I don't know why. Fucking typical idiot. Big sign. Do not enter. They always fucking. As I was saying, I'm surprised. Why hasn't the athlete's rep, who said he was the rep, and he went on that big tirade when someone mentioned, he didn't say he knows who the rep is. So why hasn't the athlete's rep had anything to say on this matter?
Well, yeah, because he'd be the last person you'd want to go to talk to about someone sexually harassing.
Hey, no, he made a big fucking song and dance and did videos about he's the athlete's rep, and these people know he's the rep. They just didn't want to use his name and blah blah blah.
This is a separate committee they're going to form, and so what it is it's going to be a safe place where like someone who is being taken advantage of can go and tell people about that. And then, you know what? Once that gets reported and filed, now if they don't do something about that person, then they're not doing their job. But if, before no one knew. In other words, if Jim doesn't know what's going on, he can't do anything about it. Now, if there's a committee where people can go and then if something is happening and they tell that person, now it would be his onus or his responsibility, or Tyler, whoever handles that, to reprimand the person, sanction them, or fire them at that point. So I think. But do you think
that was going to be like you said, Sandy being in, and everyone knows she's been in? Do the organization that long. She's good friends with all these people. Like you said, will some girls think, shit, if I go to Sandy and say something, could that be detrimental to my placings, and could it backfire on me if she goes to the powers that be? So do you think some people think along those lines?
I think I don't think Sandy's going to be the go-to person. I think Sandy is from what
she's gonna nominate people and
create
find
a committee. She'll create a committee. She'll pick the committee people, and then so the committee people would be the people you would go to, not necessarily Sandy. And I think that's. But you know what? Even if you go to Sandy, it would be her responsibility. You know, whoever's responsibility to file some kind of a report that so and so complained about. You know,
I got just the person, Leslie.
There you go, the therapist. There you go. She needs a job. That's perfect for her. You're right.
Exactly.
That's great. Wow, you're a genius.
I've come up with gamma lies and now given Leslie.
I know you're on a creative streak. Drink a little more stimuli while you're at it.
I tell you, I'm going to go paint a painting on a chapel roof in a minute.
It's a good idea. You know why it's a good idea? Because she is a competitor, but she's from Canada. She's going to move to the U.S., so she really has no involvement in the NPC, which is good. And they could hire her as like a professional. You know, she's a therapist.
Exactly. That's perfect for the job.
I'm going to bring it up to her. I'm going to tell her to contact them. So I think it's a step in the right direction. And once again, they got to get rid of the people who were putting a black eye on our sport, because you know what, we at the end of the day, we can critique things, we can criticize things, we can love it and applaud it, but at the end of the day, we love the sport and we don't want to see the sport go away. So we got to clean it up, and if there are a few bad seeds, you throw them out in the garbage pail.
And the thing is too, it's like, I know it's like making this sport look bad, but I'm sure if we went into every sport, whether it be figure skating, look at that. That gymnastics? That one doctor at the gymnastics. How many? It was like how many girls did he sexually assault and stuff like that? So I'm sure it's across the board in every sport, but because, like you said, bodybuilding already, or this sport, because of fucking steroids and the media, we already have that sort of dirty, tarnishy type thing. This just like, oh well, that's to be expected in that sport, isn't it?
It's true. It's unfortunate, but it's true. But you know what? That's why we have to police ourselves, because you don't want any outside organizations coming in and trying to like control our sport, because then they're going to want a drug test and all this other stuff. It'll ruin the sport. The good thing is that it's not really a sport; it's a pageant. So as long as they can show,
Dave, you're going to upset people saying that again.
Yeah, we have protection of our whatever you want to call it, sport. We have protection for women and for people who are being possibly taken advantage of. We have a committee. You can go talk to them. They'll file a report, and then it's up to the people who run the organization to investigate that. So
what about for men too? Like back in my day when I did an article and I spoke about this sort of thing, and I got blackballed and suspended for opening my mouth about it.
Well,
I think people like me. Huh?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because you know what? Now we're in a different world now. You can't.
But isn't it funny? Because I think actually did get suspended and in trouble because Wayne was in charge of it back then, but they all spoke. But when I talked about this, I did do an article once where I talked about JM and that porn website and stuff, and got in trouble for it. And Lee, you're making this up. Oh, now look, how many years later, Lee was telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, I think that everyone knew the site was there. I don't think that people knew that people were being coerced.
Well, there was two of them. I know in the article they mentioned Fitness Divas, but there was two of them. One was Fitness Divas. The other one was Alluring Fitness.
Right.
There was actually two of them.
You know what? It seemed to me, and I wasn't there. I never was there for a single photo shoot. So I don't know. It seemed like the people that were creeping around the photo shoots, like maybe John Tooman, and I think there was mention of Rob Rossetti. I think those guys were like, were basically the predators. JM was just, he was just a photographer trying to make a few bucks. But
you can tell JM. JM to me just seems like, for one, he just, I'm not going to say. It's almost like, not Forrest Gump, that far Forrest Gump, but not basic, but he just seems very friendly, jovial, where, you can just tell people are just happy to do what they do.
He's not a predator.
And their mind doesn't, like, it doesn't seem like his mind would ever be anything sexually like that. He's just doing his job and that sort of thing. Whereas some people, like you said, Tuman, you look at him, you go, fucking creep. You just get that vibe. Whereas JM doesn't give you that vibe. He's just doing his thing and stuff. But Tuman, you look at him, you're like, oh. But I used to get that same feeling from fucking John Lindsay. I'm thinking, there's a fucking. It's like
John was. I've never seen anyone who loved money more than John. That's what John was about. John was a good person, a good man. If you knew him and he liked you, it was a different relationship. But he was all business. Don't fuck with my business. That John Lindsay's.
He'd have that briefcase. He'd always have security with him. That briefcase. I always wondered how much money's in that briefcase.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. Yeah, he would never do anything to jeopardize his business. And I had some long talks. And you know what he gave me? He gave me some very good advice. I'm not going to talk about it here, but he gave me good advice and told me things that I didn't believe at the time. And then I found out that he wasn't lying to me. He was telling me the truth. He always was. So because I couldn't believe some of the stuff that he was telling me, but it was all about business. And you know what? He built an insane business over there. Think about, he was running all the shows in California. And now Tamer and his brother Tarek obviously bought that business from John, and they're running it, and they've expanded it even more. So
did he just get out of it altogether, John? Did he just?
I think he sold, and then he had some small stake in it. But you know, he didn't want to be. He had plenty of money. He wanted to retire and relax. I don't blame him. You know what? Imagine going to a show every single weekend for that many years, with all that aggravation and dealing with all these, it's too much.
Complaints, and then it's this, it's that.
Yeah. I think he just had enough, and he wanted to cash out, and he did. And so, you know, good for him. You know, get out before you drop dead. Unfortunately, a lot of people drop dead before they have a chance to actually, you know, enjoy life. You know. But
very true. Very true.
Sold her show too, and remember she used to do junior nationals all the time. She's out now too. I don't, you know, she took a.
Jan Tanner's been in for a long time, hasn't she?
Yeah, I don't think Jan Tanner even promotes a show anymore, does she?
No, but
I think that pro show she used to do years ago, which was great for the women because it was mostly women.
Yeah.
I think that she did it more so to promote her tanning products. That was like a whole extravagant production she put on. And I've been to a few of them. They were really fun. She probably didn't make money on those shows. I bet you it was like a wash for her, but man, they were fun shows to go to if you attended.
Should always come out in the big glittery dress and tiara. It's like it's like always look like the Wicked Witch, not the Wicked Witch, the
Linda.
Princess, from the Wizard of Oz or something. Yeah. She'd have the wand too. Remember some of them? She'd have
the Good Witch, Linda, the Good Witch. Yeah.
That's what she looked like.
I think that's what she wanted to look like. Yeah, but that was a fun show to go to. I remember, you know, coming up through the ranks. There were fun. Night of Champions was always really fun. Yeah. Jan Tanner's show was great. I remember that. That's a show that just stuck out of my mind.
You know, speaking of New York and that reminds me of how like Australia's Arnold Classic sort of disappeared, and UK Arnold's disappeared, and God knows what's happening to the one in America. I know Arnold and Raphael are friends. What would happen if Arnold takes the Arnold Classic and gives it to Raphael, and then Mr. Wayne DeMilia comes back in promoting the Arnold Classic in America?
I don't think you're going to see that. I really don't. I think that Arnold, I think the U.S. Arnold is probably going to stay the way it is, but I mean, you never know. I guess anything could happen.
As much as we hated Wayne, he was a good promoter. We got to give him that when it comes to bodybuilding shows. So.
Yeah. You know, it is. I think he got a little too comfortable in the position, and you know, and maybe he felt he could do it better. And you know, if he probably would have gotten away with it if the Weeders weren't alive, but the Weeders were still, you know, running the show at the time.
Yeah. Well, I always heard that. I always heard even years ago, like when I was competing the Arnold, late 90s, early 2000s, even, that Arnold always wanted more prize money, but due to the Weeders, he kept it lower, so the Olympia wasn't a big show. When competitors and everyone knew we got treated better at the Arnold Classic, the show was run better than the Olympia and that sort of thing. So, and then, you know, heaven forbid, I said it back then, I think you even said that the Arnold was a better show. We all got in fucking trouble for it. So.
You know why the Arnold is a more enjoyable show? Because there's a limited amount of people in the show. And I talked about this on Ask Dave today. When you only have 10 or 12 people in a division, you could almost critique every athlete. You can do call outs with all the athletes together. You could, it's a more intimate show, and it doesn't seem as overwhelming. Like you have so many competitors, you get lost of what you're looking at.
Oh yeah.
I think it's more enjoyable when the show goes faster.
Well, especially then too, it's like, especially back then when you even look at the Olympia when they might have only had 14, 15 or the Arnold, all of them though were in top-notch condition. Like the whole top 10, really given any opinion, could have almost been top 3 going by placing. So yeah, like I said, but even this year's Olympia, I think is going to be one of the best ever. But 35 guys is a lot of guys in the Olympia. It's like 15, maybe 18 tops, but 35. How are you going to work them that hard that everyone's going to get a good show? I know the main guys are going to get worked hard, but then some of others are just going to be really quick comparisons. It's going to be hard.
They like to do these 2-day shows, right, Lee? So what if they did on Friday night, like an elimination? Like they would do a prejudging to get down to the top 15, and then on Saturday morning is the top 15 prejudging, and then Saturday night's the finals. You know, that's how they should do it.
Well, I think in the old days that would work, but I think now there's so much hocus pocus going on with fucking chemical warfare and take this to do this and do that, that if they peak for the elimination round, the next day it's like, well, fucking hell, what's happening now? Body's changing.
Well, they already have, but it's already a 2-day show. So why? I mean, it's make it a 2-day show anyway. You got to get up in the morning too and compete. That's all.
These are bodybuilders, Dave. They're fucking lazy. They're lucky to be doing
a good analogy. When I was a runner, okay, and I would go to a meet, let's say, and run a race. Let's say I was running the. I used to run the 5K. Okay, on the
they
track.
all have heats, don't they? Have different heats.
Yeah, but listen. So when I did it, you go to the show. It's the 5K race comes up. It's 25 laps on the track. You're done. Or if you're doing the mile, it's four laps. You're done. When you go to the Olympic level, they have heats. It's one thing to do it. It's one thing to do a heat for the 100 meters. Okay, I got to run a semifinal. I got to run a finals. It's a big deal when you have to run 3.1 miles on the track twice or 3 times in 2 days. That's fucking hard. If Olympic athletes can do that, why can't bodybuilders peak to go hit a few bicep shots?
They're fucking lazy, Dave. I've said this before. They're fucking lazy now. Some of them only do, like, I can understand Mr. Olympia only doing the one fucking show, but now we have guys winning shows early in the year, like the Arnold or some other little show. Right. Then they take a whole year off to wait for the Olympia, or they fucking just like, you're fucking lazy. What do you do off season? You go to the gym once a day, you fucking train, and then you sit and eat food all day. You sit on the fucking couch. I'm a professional bodybuilder. I can't fucking do anything else. It's fucking crazy. They're just not lazy. It's like, generally back when we were competing, it was Mr. Olympia and I think Sean Ray were the only two that generally just did the one show. Everybody else competed throughout the year 3 or 4 times minimum. Now it's like, I'm just doing one show. And like, I understand putting size on like the Nick Walkers and that, but fuck, you're 25, 26. Fucking do as many shows as you can. Get them in and get them out. It's like, and like I said, people always say, yes, Lee, but getting ready for a show is unhealthy of all the drugs they take. I'm like, off season, you take drugs. Okay. Contest time, you take drugs. At least contest time, you're eating fucking clean. You're doing lots of cardio compared to off season. You're taking lots of drugs, getting overweight and just sitting on your fucking fat ass doing no cardio, which is unhealthier really for that.
You're right. I mean, but no one wants to work. You know, everyone's like, I can't peak. I can't do this. Maybe if you made it harder, there would be less people. There would be less people who would do it.
I think it would be good. Like I said, I think we've mentioned it before. Maybe just the top 3 should qualify for the following Olympia, or even you got to pay for your pro card to the IFBB. Maybe it should be stipulated, unless you're in the top 3 of the Olympia, you got to do a minimum of 3 pro shows a year. That'd be great for promoters. It's great for the fans, because what other sport do they only people just turn up for the finals and it's like a bunch of qualifiers?
You know what, Lee? Look, we all go and watch the press conference, right, on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day they hold it. Why not, instead of the press conference that no one really wants to go to anyway, because no one says anything that's interesting?
Well, you can't ask questions. You got Bob on the mic, who you can't get a fucking tell the same jokes every fucking year. So let me ask you, Rami, how do you think you're going to do this year? Well, Bob, I'm going to win. Oh, hold on. Bodak, did you just hear what Rami says? What do you say about that? Well, I'm coming in my best. I'm going to win. Oh, well, what about you? Oh, it's like the same shit as a press conference. Introduce the guys. and let the fans ask questions. That'll be funny and entertaining.
Yeah, you know, that's boring too. Just get these guys in. I don't want to see them in a suit. Put them in a fucking posing suit on stage, and then let's do an elimination round. Okay? You go through the mandatory poses. We're not going to compare anyone with anyone. There's no going to be comparisons. You're going to just have them line up, and they're going to say, okay, the judge is going to pick top 15. They're going to read the names off at the end of this preliminary round. All right, these 15 guys are coming back tomorrow for prejudging. That's it. End of story. Now you just eliminated half the freaking lineup in 2 seconds.
But like I said, it's going to be one of the best Olympias ever. But I think it's going to be a lot of upset people who will be like, I didn't get enough comparisons. I wasn't compared to such and such.
I have even a better idea, Lee. When they do this comparison, let's say there's 30 guys qualified for the Olympia, which there aren't, but let's say there isn't. All right, so they do this elimination round. They announce the top 15 names. All right, you guys you're going to be doing the Mr. Olympia tomorrow morning. The other 15 guys, we're going to run you through comparisons now, and we're going to do a champion. You know, we're going to place you, you know, here. This is going to be the secondary Olympia. They're going to give it some other fucking name, the Olympia Challenge for the second half of the group that doesn't make the cut. And give the fans something to look at, you know.
You're like the riffraff. You're like the rejects.
Well, anyone who qualifies for the Olympia is fucking awesome in my book. Yeah. So I want to see these guys now pose down against each other because the other top 15, those are the elite 15. This is the second group, but you're still better than 90% of all the other bodybuilders in the world.
But I just hate it though, where you could have, like I said, there's going to be at least 30 guys in it. So, but yet someone who's going to be 25th, are they really going to get compared to the top 10? Because how many times do you see even the top 10 or the top 6? The top 3, sometimes the guy that got 6 didn't once get compared to the top 3. Like, and until you see them side by side, you know, seeing them on one side of the stage, and when they go side by side, pose for pose, the guy that was in 6 could look just as good as the guy that got 6.
That's why you need less people in the lineup. So if they can eliminate this and break it down to 15 guys, now everyone can get compared against everyone else because you're not rushing to get it done.
And what I would do, I'd be like, if I had a top 6 there, and we're down to the final 6, and Rami's like the current champion, and he looks good, I would only do 2 people at a time. Rami's going to be in the middle, and I'm going to bring every person one by one and compare him to Rami.
Yeah. The problem is that after the top 10, really, right, you get two call-outs. Does anyone want to really see the 3rd and 4th and 5th call-out? You know, if they're in shape, yes. And then you're just waiting for them to call the top guys out again. So instead of doing that, you do it on Thursday, you know, and those guys.
But if they're in shape, you want to see, because sometimes you'll see someone, like you'll see them mainly the top 10, but then you'll see someone over here like, fucking look at him. Why is he not getting caught out? Fucking look at him, bring him out. But they don't bring him out sometimes. It's like, what's going on? Bullshit.
Right. But if you do my thing also, let's say one of the top 15 guys, the second half of the 15 guys looks amazing. You know what? He won the Thursday round. He's going to get to qualify and do the Olympia tomorrow. You know, he beat all these other guys here. He'll be number 16 and he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. So there you go.
Apart from Rami winning, everyone else is going to be upset and pissed off anyway from second on down the 30th.
Yeah, of course. It's always the way it is.
And then they'll be like, and then none of them will do a show next year. They'll just do one show, and then it'll be fucking.
You know, getting back to the idea you had about the gamma lies. How about if we make you green, and then we do another photo shoot, we make you the red Hulk here, and that'll be the red.
What about half and half? Just do half and half.
There you go. That's right.
You can do that. A perfect line, like green one side, red the other side.
You work on that. That's going to be the ad. That's the ad for the new whatever the product name is going to be. Whether it's, I don't know if
what's wrong with
Gamma-Lize, whatever we call it, Green-Alize. I don't know what we're going to call it, but that's the ad though. Half
Slime-Alize. No, Gamma-Lize sounds pretty good because gamma rays. So it's like
right. But it might sound too toxic. We want to, I have to think of something better.
I don't want to buy that. I could get all toxic.
I'll bet you if you did a Google search, someone's already using it or something like that. I was thinking of Vitalize. I thought that would be like a good word, but then it was like a little too tutti frutti. And I looked it up and someone already had it. Matter of fact,
I gotta say, I think I've seen a green product with Vital something on it. So.
Vital Greens, yeah. But Victor Conte owns Vitalize. He has some kind of, it's like a brain peptide, a neuro, like a nootropic or something like that. But There's a lot. It's hard to come up with original names in this marketplace because so many products are out there. Most of them you never heard of, but if you Google them, you'll find you're like, holy mackerel! I thought I came up with this great original name.
I know.
And there's like a product with it already.
And it's like a name too you want that's catchy, that sort of people. It's like it's saying like, everyone knows Reebok, Nike. It just sort of flows. So you don't want a name that people say, but it's just like Dickie. It's like
you guys, I would think with all the little short sayings that you guys have in Australia there for everything, you'd be able to come up with something,
Well, I just don't think cuntalize on the shelf would, go too well. It's catchy. It's catchy, I know, but
Yeah.
Amalgalize, how's that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll work on it. I still have to get samples of the stuff because I gave them a list of everything I want. And once I give them my list, then what happens is I got to get the flavoring guy involved because the flavor is important. It's got to like taste good without putting any sugar. So
Biolize.
I'll give you 24 hours, 48 hours to come up with a couple of good names. So.
Biolize sounds good.
I bet you someone has that name.
Well, fucking sue him. I just come up with
it. Well, it's funny because remember, Jack Owak had that name Bang, right, for that drink.
Oh yeah.
And there's another guy who had Bang for something in like another country or something like that, and he sued Jack, and then Jack got the right to use it only for like an energy drink or something. He had a limited use of that, and then he expanded the Bang line, and then the guy sued him again, and that guy was part of the settlement because Pepsi sued him, I think, and that guy sued him, and that was like the $500 million settlement.
I thought back in the day you couldn't sue because I know, like, say if you had a name in America, and if it wasn't like done properly, someone in Australia could use the same name because it's a different country.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened with Burger King because Burger King was in America,
right?
And they were coming here, but a guy here, so he brought the rights to Burger King. So when they wanted to come here, this guy was like, "Well, I own the name here in Australia. You want it? You got to pay me this much." And he wanted some astronomical name, so they said, "Fuck you," and opened Hungry Jack's because Hungry Jack's is exactly the same.
Really interesting.
Same menu, everything, but it's not called Burger King. It's called Hungry Jack's. So they're like, "We'll keep the fucking name. We'll go Hungry Jack's."
Hungry Jack's is a good name, much better name than Burger King, I think.
I know that Burger King mascot just looks fucking creepy when
I just don't like that because they say it's flame broiled, but it's really not. They just paint on some like flame broiled taste. I always get indigestion from it. Every time I get sucked into a Burger King, I'm like, you know what? I'm desperate. I'm at this rest stop in the middle of the highway. I'm going to get Burger King. And then I regret it the rest of the day. It comes up.
Well, like I'm on, like with that Telegram app on the circles with me and Jay Cutler and Guy Sistanito and Flex Lewis and that. We're all arguing about, because I keep saying go to McDonald's and Frank McGrath likes McDonald's and there's still like Jay's on there. No, In-N-Out. Look, In-N-Out's good, yes, but McDonald's is everywhere worldwide. McDonald's has a vast variety, breakfast and everything. In-N-Out's just a burger. Sure, the burgers are good, but it doesn't have the menu McDonald's has. So we keep arguing which is the better. I'm saying McDonald's is the best. You can't go wrong. Yes.
I agree.
And it is. It's like,
I agree.
There's no argument.
Yeah. All right. We were supposed to have a guest join us today. He didn't join us.
Fucking Australians. They never show up. They're fucking useless.
Very useless. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get him on next time. He's an Arnold lookalike. I don't want to give it away, so we'll show him next time.
They get one chance, Dave. If they don't show up, that's it.
That's right. This was his big break.
He's too big. He's too big for our show.
No, maybe I'll send you to his house to taunt him or something like that.
I'll be down Sydney tomorrow filming TV.
Oh, there you go. All right, stop by his house unannounced.
In my parking officer's uniform
with a baseball bat, like you go in there to beat him up. They'll think you're Callum Van Moger.
Hey, what's happened to him lately? He's gone quiet. Has any more word on what's happening?
Good. It's good that we haven't heard anything from him. That means that maybe he's seeking help. That's a good thing.
Or isn't it good? It could be.
Well, I mean, assuming he isn't doing more drugs. And,
we'll go by the old saying, no news is good news.
That's right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us today. And as always, if you have any suggestions for shows, Put them in the
Someone's
comments
gonna
below. Send them to
complain.
me. What?
They're going to complain we didn't rage. You just didn't rage. You just talked.
We were raging. We were raging about about how to fix the NPC issue, and we raged.
It wasn't really raging. We're almost trying to be intellectual, but I can't really do that.
So you still didn't tell me Stallone or Schwarzenegger.
I did. I said I think they're both equal for
no, you can't do that. You got to pick one or the other.
Oh, well, let's go. I was going to try and include their legs. Maybe Arnold's legs could be better. So if we're going overall, even though both their legs aren't great, I think Arnold has better legs still. So if we're going overall body, probably Arnold.
There you have it. Lee Priest picks 70-something-year-old Arnold over 70-something-year-old Stallone. I have to go with Stallone, but now probably Arnold has a better physique just because he's got better genetics than Stallone. But Stallone Stallone is still amazing. I don't know how he does all these like action movies. He still does a lot of his own stunts too. It's amazing.
Oh, the fight scenes and that, yeah. I was watching the making of when they remade when they did that last Rambo where they're fighting in the tunnel scenes and that under the thing where he's being
crazy.
He had those, the stuntman had those things on them that they get yanked back on the cables, and he was getting thrown through walls, and he'll show him the little injuries he's got and that from being pushed through walls. And like he likes to connect when he fights. He likes to have a few punches connect.
He almost died on Rocky IV. He was having Dolph Lundgren hit him so hard. I think he collapsed the lung or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, punctured his lung and that.
Yeah.
But that's when I go back to remember. What's his name? William, that played Conan's father. Used to train at World Gym, who passed away. Was it a year or two ago?
Will Chamberlain.
No, Will. The guy that come into World. No, he played Arnold's father.
Oh, yeah, that guy just died recently.
His name was Smith, William Smith.
Will Smith, yeah. Not the black Will Smith. He's the white Will Smith, yeah.
Yeah, but he'd always come up like, Lee, you always smell alcohol on him in the morning. How you going, Lee? Feel this, but great guy. But he'd been in so many movies, but he'd done them like Clint Eastwood. He's been in everything, but he said his best movie he loved doing was with Rod Taylor, the Australian actor, called Darker Than Amber. They filmed it here, and he loves punching on. He goes, in our fight scenes we get onto, he goes, you fucking Australians. He goes, that Rod Taylor could drink. Oh, fuck, he'd drink me this and that. He goes, and I could drink a lot. He goes, the night before filming, we were drinking, and the next day's a big fight scene. And we're blowing on and we're punching, still a little bit drunk. He goes, that fucker, he broke my fucking rib, but I didn't let him know. We just kept fucking going.
Well, those
one of the best fight scenes ever, but he broke my fucking rib.
The fight scenes with him and Clint Eastwood were great too in that movie.
Yeah.
Any which way but loose there. I loved that.
Yeah, but it was funny. He goes, probably one of the best fight scenes ever. Broke me fucking rib.
That's a real man. There's no real mans anymore. After Clint Eastwood and Will Smith,
Charles Bronson and all those people.
Yeah.
They actually look like
real men.
Fucking ass. They look like they could beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah, who knows if they could even fight, but they looked like they could do it. That was the most important thing. All right, let's wrap this up. I got to go play with the kiddies. We're gonna go to the gym.
I've done my training now. I've had this little downtime, 40-something minutes. So I'm going back in to walk on the treadmill.
Woo, okay.
Then over there, my next stop is 30 feet away, McDonald's.
There you go. You can't go. Nothing like doing a little cardio before McDonald's so you don't feel quite as guilty, right?
I don't feel one bit of guilt.
All right, Lee. Thanks for joining us, guys, today. And we'll be back again next week with another installment of